Wait, is it during Holy Week?
No. No, this is just a video.
Yeah.
That'd be quite the time, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Be quite the. I think that might be it. For now. So you think about going
bring
to?
Ryan in on this because he thought it was over Daniel's wedding, but wedding's 15.
Yeah.
I know Zach was hanging out.
Yeah.
Where's Zach?
Yeah.
Where's Zach?
That's a bad piece.
He's dialed in.
You can watch through the window.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'm recording the video right now, so we could send this out afterwards to those that thought
That'd be great.
was more important, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
Are you gonna come to the meeting, Ryan?
On the 15th, we leave the 16th.
Yeah, I'll call you right back.
17.
I need to talk to someone.
Wow.
No, that's during Daniel's wedding.
No, it's the 15th. We leave 2 days after.
Maybe.
If you want more information, come sit down, bro.
It's not gonna hurt.
Bench.
Right?
I'm missing the Vikings game for that.
Not the whole thing, though. You don't want to see them lose, do you?
Yeah.
I might actually be helping you out, Ryan, because it's not gonna win. It's not gonna work out for them. I know it. And it just might ruin your day. It might ruin your day. I'm just saying.
We gotta hurry up. The Packer game is on.
Are you a Packer fan? Oh my gosh.
Are you
yes.
serious?
So
Jared, are you serious?
I didn't realize there
Dude,
was
no way.
Packer
Since
fans.
when?
Joe, we have a
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're from Bismarck anyway, so you can pick what you want.
In Green Bay for 2 years.
Did you really? Dude,
That's
that's awesome.
What do we got, PJ?
Oh, he's gone.
He's not there anymore.
What happened?
Sure, here.
He's like, these people care about football more.
Yeah.
You're fine.
We're talking about like the Eternal City here, and we're talking about football,
Yeah, really.
What single supplement had 600?
So I think it's if you wanted like insurance, it just costs more.
Insurance.
Wait, when do we have to have this by?
I'll tell you about that.
Really long.
I haven't set a date yet. Probably within the next couple weeks.
For the
Let's have what? In the next couple weeks?
Tonight, right now.
Tonight?
I'm just kidding. I'm
Okay,
just
let me just go.
kidding.
We deposit 500.
I told her
I haven't set a date yet.
No.
Yeah,
I
we got
haven't told
time.
my parents. Well, I told my parents, but then I wasn't like, oh, you're not going.
Yeah.
They're just like, okay, that sounds fun.
My mom literally freaked out. I told her I want to go.
Just don't tell her. Just send it an email.
A picture of it.
I went home last week and asked if I could go to Slovenia with Heller, and she was like, absolutely not. So,
Really?
I'm young now. I can actually travel, but someday I won't be able to.
Yeah.
Well, I said that. I told her that.
Can he see us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see it, right? All right, you can see us, right, PJ?
Yeah, I can see you. You all ready?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Well, how many guys were any of you guys at the first meeting?
No.
Yes.
2 people. Two
Okay.
people were.
Awesome. Well, it's basically going to be the same because we're just trying to get a bunch of information out to those that might want to come on this trip. But we'll do it really quick, just to give you an idea. But let's just start. Joe, do you want to lead a prayer over
Sure.
there? I put you on the spot.
Yeah. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, Lord Jesus, we just thank you for this day, your day today. We just pray for this discernment for this trip, for those that maybe worry about funds, Lord, to trust in you that if they're meant to go, that it will work out. And we just lift up any anxiety and stress with this discernment to you and any of those things. We just pray for the rest of this day and for this opportunity. And we just entrust this meeting, this information meeting to you. And we'll just end with a prayer to your blessed Mother. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Joe. Can you all see me all right? And hear?
Yeah.
They can hear you, but you're on my computer screen, so it's a little tiny.
Okay, cool.
Like an inch wide.
Do you see the presentation, like the screen of Pilgrimage to Rome, or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'll go back and forth between that and me so we can see different things. But just a little history. So Joe and I met like 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
We were on a mission trip to Guatemala. And I don't know, a friend of mine invited me to come. She always talked about, she was a youth minister and a campus minister, and invited me to come. And Joe was there with the Newman Center group, and we hit it off. And I think within like less than a year, we went on a pilgrimage to Rome with some of the students that were on the Guatemala mission trip and some students as well. So it's been a blessing to be able to lead you guys and get to know some of you guys and hang out with Joe, because he's like the coolest campus minister ever.
They all think the same. So
No, that's what I figured. And we've been talking about going back for a while, because on that first trip, Joe had this awesome painting that he bought on the street in Florence, and he left it at security on the way home.
it's only $5, so it's like a knockoff.
We need to get him a new one.
Yeah, right.
But just a little history about Chow Roma and about me. I grew up in Chicago, ended up visiting Rome the very first time when I was 15 years old. And it was an amazing experience. It's what started my love of Rome. And on that trip, our pastor had arranged for a private audience and mass with the Pope. And so it was Pope John Paul II, so now a saint. And got to go to mass. He said there's good news and bad news. Tomorrow we have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Bad news is we're going to mass with Pope John Paul with about 30 other people in the private, Vatican gardens. So went to mass, and afterwards you get to shake his hand and talk to him for a second. He gives you a rosary blessed. And he called me a good boy, which I used against my parents for the rest of my life whenever I got in trouble. And that's what started my love of Rome. When I started looking at colleges, I tried to find a place that had a study abroad program, found it, and studied there a semester, and then ended up getting hired back to go and be a resident assistant at the same school through Loyola. A couple years later, came home from that experience and became a youth minister. And the kids in my youth group, I was like, guys, I'm not a youth ministry major. I didn't study this. I always helped out with youth group, but I'm a marketing major. I don't really know what I need to be doing. So let's figure this out together. So they came up with some good ideas, some bad ideas. And one of the good ideas was they wanted to go on a pilgrimage to Rome. And I had just gotten back from there about a month earlier, was missing it a lot. And I said, all right, let's do this. So we planned 2 pilgrimages, and then all the adults, and it was for high school students, and then all the adults in my church were like, all right, time out. You're taking all these kids. We want to go. And so that's when my wife, Rachel, and I started Chow Roma Travel. So we've been leading pilgrimages since 2006, officially with Chow Roma since 2009. So about 10 years, and taken hundreds of people. This past summer, we took 200 people to Rome. We had 3 trips back to back to back. Had about 30 people on the first trip, 100 on the second trip, and then 50 on the third trip. So it's something we really love doing. It's not just, we don't just go through the motions. Like, we love every aspect of it, from planning it to finding, the hotels and restaurants that we go to. And I give all the tours while we're there. And a lot of times, I'm not sure the May trip, I don't think my family will be coming, but sometimes they come with as well. So our 3 little kids come with. And so it's just a passion of ours, and we love introducing people to Rome. And I think it's really not old for us. Like, walking into St. Peter's, that's what you're looking at in the back of that screen there, across that river, that St. Peter's Basilica, the Vatican. It doesn't get old. When we walk into that square, when I walk into St. Peter's, it amazes me every time. And part of it, I think, is it's amazing just to begin with, but also being able to turn around and see all of your faces, seeing it for probably the first time, and seeing all the faces and the awe, because it's awe-inspiring. So I think that's what reignites this love of Rome every time we go back. So let's just go through this really quick. Let me get here. There we go. So just a quick run through of sites. We're not going to go through like a day-by-day itinerary. You will get that. You'll get a book when you come on the trip. You'll get a book that you'll have with you every day. It's got emergency contact information, hotel addresses and phone numbers, and embassy numbers just in case you lose your passport or lose us. We do have a 100% return policy, so we've never lost anybody, so we plan on keeping that intact and not leaving anybody over there. But you'll get a booklet, and it'll have a day-by-day itinerary. It'll have mass readings for the day because we'll have mass every day. Joe, will chaplain be coming with, or do we need to find one?
Yes, we'll have Father Vogel will be coming with us.
Cool, awesome. That's awesome. And then it also has praise and worship songs that we sing at Mass or just during praise and worship time out in St. Peter's Square, and also some visual aids for some of the sites that we see, as well as some cheat sheets on how to say certain things in Italian, like, please and thank you, and where's the bathroom, and I lost my group, and that kind of stuff. Hopefully you don't have to use that one. I think if you all know some of the, maybe you don't, but if you know any of the students that went a couple years ago with us, they'll tell you that one of the most amazing experiences was having praise and worship in St. Peter's Square, where we just started singing. We sat down and we're like, let's just sing some songs of the Lord. And I think there were like 30 of us, and all of a sudden people from all over the world just started joining us. And everyone started holding hands and singing songs right in St. Peter's Square, right outside the window of the Pope. So it's an amazing trip, and we'll get you all those details about exactly what we'll do on certain days. But right now, just to give you an idea of what we'll see, we'll just do it really quick. So the cities that we go to on our pilgrimage is we'll start in Rome. We'll spend a majority of the time in Rome. We'll be there for 6 nights, 5 or 6 nights, and then after that, we will head to Assisi. It's a perfect combination. Rome is pretty chaotic and overwhelming, and there's so many things to see. We're going to be walking a lot. We use public transportation while we're there. So we'll be using the subway and buses and walking a lot. And then after that, we go to Assisi. And Assisi is like the perfect balance of, it's just quiet and peaceful and prayerful. And it's a perfect way to leave Rome and go and relax and pray and get to see where Francis walked and where he's buried and where he spent his time and where his family lived. So we'll go there, and then after that, we'll spend 2 nights in Assisi, and then from there we will go to Florence. It'll just be, we'll wake up in the morning. We will then take a private bus. We do have private buses that will pick us up at the airport, drop us off at the hotel, and then also pick us up at the hotel and take us to Assisi, take us to Florence, take us back to Rome. But while we're in the cities, we walk and use public transportation. But Florence, we'll wake up early. We'll take our bus to Florence. We'll spend the day there. We'll leave right after dinner time to get back to a hotel that's right by the airport so we can fly out the next day. So those are the cities that we'll go to: Rome, Assisi, and Florence. While we're in Rome, here's the things that we will see. So a lot of churches, there are so many churches. I don't even know how many churches there are in Rome, but there's hundreds of them, maybe thousands. I don't even know. But the first 4 are the 4 major basilicas. So St. Peter's, which is what you see, this picture in the back of that St. Peter's Square. This is taken from the dome of St. Peter's. That's where Peter's buried. And we also try to get this tour called the Scavi Tour. We'll talk about that in a second. But St. Peter's is built right on the top of St. Peter's tomb, and right nearby where he was crucified. Then we'll go to St. John Lateran, which is the second church listed there. That's the church, the official church of the Pope as the Bishop of Rome. Sometime in the 1400s, they ended up switching and making it St. Peter's because it was the new big beautiful church, I'm assuming. But St. John Lateran is still the official church of the Pope as the Bishop of Rome. St. Paul outside the walls is where St. Paul is buried. One of my favorites after St. Peter's, maybe because my name is Paul, but really unique and beautiful church. And then St. Mary Major, one of the first churches dedicated to Mary in the Western Church. Another beautiful church. So those are the 4 major ones. And then we'll visit some other small churches. They're all huge, and we could fit like 10 of our churches inside these, but they're the smaller, minor churches. But one site we'll go to right across the street from St. John Lateran are the Scala Santa, which means the Holy Stairs, which are stairs brought over from Jerusalem that St. Helena is Constantine, the Emperor Constantine's mother. She helped him convert to Christianity. She also went to Jerusalem and brought back a bunch of relics from the Holy Land, including these holy stairs that are from Pontius Pilate's court. So stairs that Jesus walked up on the way to being crucified. So we'll visit those. A church called St. Mary of the People, Santa Maria del Popolo, which houses, I'll tell you what's in these churches, but I'll also always remember, like, the most important thing in there is Jesus. He's present in the Blessed Sacrament, but also a lot of these churches have some amazing pieces of art. So this church in particular has 2 Caravaggio paintings. So Caravaggio is a famous Italian painter. 3 names that you'll hear a lot on this pilgrimage is Bernini. He was a sculptor. So he sculpted a lot of things in St. Peter's. He designed St. Peter's Square that you're looking at in the background there, and many other things throughout Rome, very well loved. And then there's Caravaggio, who was a painter, and then Michelangelo, who was both sculptor and painter. And then this church, Santa Croce in Jerusalem, is a church that has a bunch of relics that St. Helena brought over from the Holy Land, including one of the nails that pierced Jesus' hand on the cross, some thorns from the crown of thorns, pieces from his tomb, large pieces of the true cross, the finger of St. Thomas, Doubting Thomas, and other relics. So we'll visit there. This church, Santa Maria Sopra Minerva, which is where St. Catherine of Siena is buried. Santa Maria in Trastevere, which Trastevere is like the hip, cool area where all the young people go at night. Everything's open super late, and even the churches. So we'll visit there. These other 2 churches, San Agostino, St. Augustine, has a Caravaggio painting in there, and it's where his mother, St. Augustine's mother, St. Monica, is buried. The Church of St. Ignatius is a Jesuit church right in the center of Rome. And then this St. Louis of the French has 3 Caravaggio paintings. And what's amazing, as I'm reading all these things or listing off all these things, we get to go to all these tombs of saints that we've read about in books or heard about in religion class. We get to go pray at their tombs and see pieces of art that were painted hundreds and hundreds of years ago by famous Italian painters. We get to spend time. It's a good balance of prayerful and historical and art history as well. Other things that we'll do, papal audience. That doesn't mean a private audience. That means we'll be in that big square. But ask Joe. We know where to go. We have a good spot that we like to take people to. Just to brag a little bit, all 3, my wife and I have 3 kids. Trey is 8, Claire is 6, and Elliot, she is 3. All 3 of them have been kissed by Pope Francis. We've just been in the right place at the right time. Elliot actually was kissed twice. She was just kissed again this summer. We were just in the right place, and the guards just took her right up. So we will go to a papal audience and get really close to the Pope. We'll try to get that Scavi tour. We don't always get it, but we've been blessed to get it a lot of times. The Scavi tour, Scavi in Italian means excavation. So that is the excavations underneath St. Peter's, where there's what was once an above ground cemetery with mausoleums and tombs. And it ends, and you walk through this. They've excavated it. You can walk through it like you're walking in the open air, and you walk the street, and it finally ends where you see the bones and tomb of St. Peter. It's built. That's right underneath the altar, the main altar of St. Peter's. So we try to get that. Castel San Angelo is a former tomb of Hadrian that's now a museum, but it was once a fortress and torture chamber and gun depot, and now it's a museum. The Colosseum, one of the most famous things, we'll visit there. The Pantheon, another famous temple that we'll visit that's now a Catholic church. Piazza Navona and the Trevi Fountain, the Victor Emmanuel Monument, Spanish Steps. Those are all just popular places to go to hang out, see fountains and hang out and see street vendors and just have a good time. And the Circus Maximus is a huge stadium that we'll go visit there. It's right by the Colosseum. I've also listed on there amazing food, because that I consider that as a great site as well. We're going to eat really well, and all the meals are included in the price, so you don't have to worry about it at all. You don't have to worry about splitting things or who got what. And breakfast is always at the hotel. Lunch will be together as a group. We'll go. I arrange things ahead of time so we can do it pretty quickly, and those will normally be pizza and sandwiches. We try to do lunch quick so we can see all the sites while everything's open. And then dinner will be our big meal. But you will not go hungry at lunch either. We always have plenty of food. Don't be surprised, like one of our very first trips, the adult chaperones that came with our youth group, were like, we just had no idea, even though I told them we're pretty much going to eat pizza and pasta for 11 days. And they're like, we didn't know we were going to eat so much pizza and pasta. Just remember, we're going to Italy. We're not going to Germany. They're not big meat people. We're going to Italy where they make pizza and pasta. and other things. Some of the meals are going to be specifically pizza. Some are going to be specifically pasta and like family style, where they bring out a bunch of different things. Other ones are going to be like full 3 to 5 course meals where they bring out all kinds of appetizers and then pasta and then dessert and then second dessert, wine and everything. So we'll not go hungry while we're there. And then also museums. We will go to the Vatican Museums, which is the Sistine Chapel. We'll get to visit there, and it's 4 miles of artwork, not just the Sistine Chapel. It's many other pieces of artwork, one of the biggest in the world. So that is Rome. And then the next city that we'll go to is Assisi. So here's all the places that we'll visit. Now, you may have heard from people like, oh, you can do Assisi in like a half day and then you can go home. You don't need to stay there. We stay there for 2 nights because it's just one of the most charming places in the world. So yes, you could see all these things in one half day, but we still like to spend time and just get to relax while we're there. So the Basilica of St. Francis is what you see in the back. That's where St. Francis is buried. The right across town is the Basilica of St. Clare, Santa Chiara, where St. Clare is buried. Chiesa Nuova means new church. That's built on the site of St. Francis's family house where he grew up. We'll go up to St. Francis's Hermitage where he would go to get away from the busyness of the city. And for those that want to extend that hike, we can also go on it's not like an extensive like rock climbing type hike, but it's a good 45-minute hour excursion up and then another 30 minutes down where it's just beautiful. You get to be way above the city of Assisi looking out at the hills and on the other side of the mountains. Some of the group last time went on that with us. So we'll also visit a church called St. Mary of the Angels that has within it has a little tiny church that St. Francis rebuilt. It's called the Porto Zuncolo, which means little portion. So underneath the main dome of this big church is a little tiny stone church that St. Francis rebuilt. We'll also visit San Damiano, which is the church that St. Francis was rebuilding when was the first church he rebuilt, because a crucifix, I have this crucifix. Hold on. So this is the San Damiano cross, St. Francis cross. You've probably seen this somewhere before. This is a crucifix, not this one. This is a replica. It's the crucifix that spoke to Francis saying, rebuild my church. And so he started rebuilding all these little churches in the area around Assisi. And then he realized God was asking him to do more than that, not just build these little churches, but rebuild his actual people. So in the Church of St. Clare, we'll get to see this actual crucifix that's about, it's almost life-size. It's pretty huge. So we will visit there. And then also San Damiano, which is where the first church he rebuilt. It's also where St. Clare died and spent most of her life. And then San Rufino is a church where St. Clare and St. Francis were baptized. And then we'll go to Florence. Really, Florence is just a free day. The one thing that we do together is we go see, I get tickets for Michelangelo's David. So we go see the David, and then you have free time to go to the Duomo, which is the main church, which you see in the background there. Go shopping at the leather markets and haggle with all the street vendors. You can go to another museum. We can arrange for that if you'd like. We just don't want to make everybody do it because sometimes people are done with museums by the end of a 11-day trip. And just walk around, eat, hang out, and go souvenir shopping. It's a good kind of last day to get all of that last minute souvenir shopping done. Okay, that's quickly what we'll see. We'll just run through this other stuff really, really quickly. Passports. Make sure you have a passport. Just get it done now. Don't wait for it because it should take 2 to 6 weeks, normally about 4 weeks to get it done. But just get it done now. If you're planning on going, just get it done so you're not worrying about it. If you do have a passport already, just double check the expiration date because it has to be valid for 6 months from the day that you return. So from May, whatever we get home, so May, June, July, August, September, October, November, it needs to be valid until November of that same year. So just double check it. We, about 3 weeks before our taking 200 people this summer, my wife and I woke up in the middle of the night. I'm like, I need to check our passports. I tell people all the time, make sure they're valid. And one of our daughter's passports was expired. And so just go double check it. As much as you think you're good to go, triple check it and get those passports. Another thing is travel insurance. that's something people always ask about. So I can show you the place that we just have always suggested. It's called Allianz Travel Insurance. So let me get that up on the screen here. Let me see. Show you how easy it is to check and see how much the insurance is. So you just go, let me share my screen. Let me share a different screen here. Stop sharing. All right, let me go here. Okay, there's that. All right, so do you see this Allianz Travel Insurance website? Is that what's up on the screen?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So we will go here, we're going to Italy. Boom. Age of traveler, you guys are what, like 23, 20? We'll put 25. Boom. Get this face out of the way. And then you put the price. So the price, we can talk about that now. The price includes everything, is $32.95. We'll talk about that later. We put the dates, which are May. What's the dates again, Joe?
May 17th through the 26th.
That's right. 17th to the 26th. And then you guys are from Minnesota. And you can get a quote instantly. And it's usually, there's 3 options. The like cheapest one, $100, medium, $135, the best one, $165. You don't have to get this. This isn't required. It's just some people want peace of mind. Like I might have to cancel for some reason. And this tells you everything that's included in it. So you see some things are the same, some things are more. Some of it, we haven't had too many people lose their bags on the trip or get them delayed, but sometimes it happens and they cover things like that. But that's just up to you. So, and we've had good experience with this company. So we have no kickback from them or anything. We just know that they've worked well in the past. So that's travel insurance. Let me bring this meeting back up here. Let's stop sharing and then I'm gonna go back. Sometimes I talk to myself. Don't worry about it. That's my daughter in the background, sorry. Okay, here we go. All right, so is it back to the agenda?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've gone through meetings before, they're like, we didn't see anything that you're talking about. I just want to double check. So what to bring? I bring this up now, I know we're months and months away from this trip, but this just gives you an idea because it helps alleviate some of those questions that people always ask at the first meetings, even though it's months away. So luggage allowances, you're allowed to bring one big checked bag. Has to be 50 pounds or less because otherwise you'll get charged extra. And you can bring one carry-on, normal size carry-on, and a personal item like a purse or a computer bag, something like that. I bring my guitar with because we'll be celebrating Mass and I'll be playing music for that and praise and worship, so that counts as my personal item. But one checked bag, one carry-on, one personal item. Now, that being said, if you don't need to bring 2 bags or 3 bags, don't do it because you don't want to be a slave to that luggage and lugging it around all the time. Sometimes people just bring one and then they end up buying a small duffel bag or a bigger duffel bag on the way home so they can bring souvenirs with them. But don't be a slave to that luggage. You don't want to bring 3 bags just because you're allowed to bring 3 bags. You don't need that much stuff all the time. So also that being said, the hotels, all the hotels will have hair dryers. So ladies, you don't need to bring hair dryers with you. They won't have straighteners and those kind of things, but they do have hair dryers. So don't worry about that. Also in one of those carry-ons, you might want to just pack an extra set of clothes and toiletries and things like that, just in case luggage gets lost. That's always helpful to have at least one change of clothes. Other things you need to have: passport. Also, we ask you to make 2 copies of your passport, one to bring with you, one to give to us, just in case your passport gets lost and we need to go to the embassy. That passport, that copy of it, will not get you on a plane. It will just help speed up the process to get you a new emergency passport at the embassy. Money, you're going to want to bring money with you. We recommend, I mean, you can bring cash, you can bring traveler's checks, you can bring cash to exchange. The best thing and the safest thing is to bring a debit card and a credit card. There's ATMs everywhere. You just clear it with your bank, tell them you're going to be traveling, ask them what the fees are. Sometimes banks will waive fees. You just got to sweet talk them a little bit. Sometimes the bigger banks have sister banks over in different countries. So if you use this particular bank, there won't be any fees taken out. But that's the safest way. There's ATMs literally everywhere, and you can take money out just like you're at home. So that's what we recommend, as opposed to bringing a bunch of American cash to exchange. Because if that gets stolen or if you lose it, it's gone. There's no way you're going to get it back. But if someone steals your debit card or you lose it and someone uses money from that, then you can obviously contest that. And other things, we'll have time to go shopping while we're there before we see the Pope, but things you might want to bring are rosaries and medals and other items that you'd like to get blessed by the Pope. Clothing, enough clothing for 11 days of traveling, and just some things that you might not be aware of, like sleeveless shirts and low-cut things, and short shorts are not allowed. Sometimes St. Peter's doesn't even allow any shorts. So just make sure you bring enough clothes. If you are going to wear tank tops and things and shorts, just ladies, you can bring a skirt that you can put on over those. Guys, you can bring a lightweight pair of pants that you can put on over shorts, because the weather won't be like super, super hot. It'll be nice, but it might be hot. So also, tennis shoes are totally fine. You don't have to dress up for anything that we're doing. So just make sure you have the most comfortable pair of shoes or two that you have, because we're going to be doing a lot of walking. On average, we've had different groups tell us, from their Apple Watches and things. I've done it myself, but I walk more than the normal person on these trips, because I'm running around a lot. But this is my wife, Rachel.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
She helps a lot with these trips as well. There's Claire. She's hiding in the background. You want to say hi? She's still in her pajamas because it's Sunday. We decided it was pajama day. Till mass time. But yes, we walk a lot. So I would say, I think it was the biggest day that we had on one of these trips was like 9 to 11 miles, I think, in a day. Now, most of them, they're not all that much, but we do walk a lot. So make sure you have comfortable shoes. But I think the biggest day that a regular pilgrim on the trip had on their watch was 9 miles. Other miscellaneous things: a backpack, a money belt, camera, phone, a watch, all those kinds of things. Hand sanitizer. We're going to be taking public transportation, so you're going to be using hand sanitizer a lot. These converters and adapters, you're going to need those. I don't have any with. I do. So they have different size plugs in Europe. So this is what their plugs look like, as opposed to ours that are just the two little square little slits that go in the wall. So converters and adapters. An adapter just changes the plug size. So it changes it to this. A converter actually changes the voltage, because their electricity is a lot more high powered than ours. Ours is 110, theirs is 220, whatever that means, if you know what that means, voltage, wattage. But all you need to know is, like your iPhones, for example, your cell phones, that little brick already does the converting. So all you really need is an adapter to make the plug fit in the wall. You don't need it to convert. But other things like hair dryers and those kinds of things, a lot of times the plug itself does not do the converting. So you can buy these things at Target, at Walmart, wherever you go. And usually they come together. You can get an adapter and a converter all in one. The converters are bigger. They're like little bricks that have changes the plug size, but also converts the electricity. Toiletries, all those kinds of things. And then medication. Italy's not going to have the same brands as us. They're not going to have Tylenol or specific brands of medication that you might need. So make sure you bring what you do need, especially prescription things. But I mean, obviously there's pharmacies there, and you can get painkillers, or you can get headache medicine or whatever you need, allergy medicine. But if you need specific ones, then bring those with you. All right. The flights. So we will do our best. I said that price was $32.95. Now that includes a flight at a certain budget, and we'll do our best. Last time we were able to get flights from Minnesota, but we may need to, we may have to fly you from like one of 5 major cities. If that's the case, then that $32.95 will go up just a little bit, but we will know that, you know, way in advance, and we'll do our best to get flights from Minnesota. We've had really good luck with it in the past, so we should be good, but just to be aware, we may have to have you fly from a different city, and we'll figure out flights, and that could be an additional cost to get you to that city, but we will try to get you a flight out of Minnesota. And we always do our best to have a flight that is hopefully 1 layover. Sometimes we have to do 2 layovers, especially from smaller airports like Minneapolis. It's not one of the major ones. So we'll do our best. We try to look for the flights that have the lowest travel time overall. So hopefully that's a one stop, like Minneapolis to somewhere to Rome. But sometimes it has to be Minneapolis to somewhere to somewhere else in Europe, and then that city to Rome. But we will keep Joe updated on that and do our best. We want it to be an enjoyable experience for everybody, so we try to find the best flight that we can to make that so. Hotels, we have some really great hotels that we stay at in Rome, in Assisi. So in Rome, we're going to be spending 6 nights at one of 3 hotels that we stay very near St. Peter's. So it's just an amazing spot. Now, like big tour companies, they'll have you stay in like a Marriott or a Sheraton or a Hilton, a Hyatt, somewhere that's a nice, normal, like what you expect from an American type hotel. But most of those are like 45 minutes outside the city. They're out by the airport. Sure, there's some of them that are in the city of Rome, but they're like $700 a night. I don't think that's in anybody's budget that comes on our trips. So we stay in little boutique hotels that are located right near the major spots that we're going to be spending a lot of time. In particular in Rome, that's St. Peter's. We want to be close there. We're going to spend a lot of time there. We're going to go to Mass at St. Peter's. We're going to go tour it. We're going to go open the dome. We're going to go on the Scavi tour. We're going to go to Papal Audience. We're going to go to the Sistine Chapel, all those things. So we want to be close there. We're also really close to a metro stop and bus stops that we can get on really quickly. So that's why we want to stay there. And to be able to go to dinner, to wake up in the morning, walk to St. Peter's for Mass, hop on a metro, go visit some sites, and then go to dinner, and then walk home to our hotel or take a bus home. It's really magical. It's way better than hopping on a tour bus and driving 45 minutes back to our hotel, and then in the next morning waking up and hopping on a bus and going 45 minutes back into the city. So we like to be right in the city center. We also have great hotels in Assisi that we stay at, 2 of them right in the main square, and I think you'll enjoy those. So we stay in, and they're mostly 3-star hotels, nothing fancy, but also just clean, simple hotel rooms that have beds. Everyone has bathrooms and showers. The showers, just mind you, are going to be about as big as 1 human person. It's like a little shower enclosure. They're not like huge fancy showers like we have in our hotels and homes, but simple, clean, and really close to everything that we want to be near. We've already talked about cost. That cost includes literally everything. So I'm going to come back on the screen here. Stop sharing. There we go. Is it just me now?
Yep.
So the cost includes everything. It includes flight. It includes all the accommodations. So all the nights that we're going to be in hotels, we're going to stay in Rome for 6 nights, Assisi for 2 nights, and then 1 more night back in Rome, which will be at a hotel that's right by the airport. So we can just arrive late at night, go check into our room, wake up in the morning, fly out. And that actually is a Hilton. There's a couple of hotels that we stay at, both of them are Hiltons, out by the airport. It includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like I said, breakfast at the hotel, lunch on the run while we're out visiting sites and churches, and then dinner at some amazing restaurants. And it includes all the transportation, the private transportation that'll get us from the airport to the hotel, and then from Rome to all the other cities that we're going to. It includes the private and public transportation. So the bus pass that you'll get for while we're in Rome, we'll have a pass that's good for a week. So we use that every time we get on and off the metro. And it includes all the site fees as well. So there's no hidden costs. There's no like, oh, surprise, like this didn't include any of the security fees and taxes, which could be like $600 on the flights. Nothing like that. The only thing that could come up is that if we can't get a flight from Minnesota, getting you to another city, but we'll know that sooner than later. And also, if you're this probably isn't an issue with college students, but we have had a lot of older people go who just aren't up for the walk-in every single day. So if you do take taxis and Ubers, we are able to help with that. They have Uber, they have other taxi apps that you can get on your phone, and those would just be at your own expense if you're just like, I can't walk today. But college students, probably not going to be an issue. So that includes, the price includes of $32.95 includes literally everything except souvenirs and extra gelato. Now we pump you full of lots of desserts throughout the time that we're there, but if you're like, I just need a little extra, then that'll be on your own. We already talked about walking, and then the last thing I want to show you is if you want to register, you can, I think Joe, it looks like he has some of those forms there, but you can also go to our website, and let me bring it up here. If you just go to ChowRomaTravel.com, there it is. We're going to share it. So that should be ChowRomaTravel.com. So CIAO, that's not Ciao, it's not cow, it's Chow. Ciao Roma means hello Rome. So ChowRomaTravel.com, and you can go there, you can check out how we started. We have Ciao Roma merch if you want to get some of that. I forgot that was up there. Just a little bit about us, and then trips that are coming up. So we have, this is the old one, we can take that off. But June and July 2019, we have Easter 2020. And then we also have, if you go to upcoming trips, there's also, yeah, it'll kind of give you a basic itinerary of what we do on our trips. This isn't set in stone. This just kind of gives you a basic idea of what we're looking at. And then there's a media page where you can watch some videos. I don't know if Joe, if you want to show that video later after I hang up. But there's a really great video that one of the groups made. We had a professional videographer come with this group, and they filmed. So all the footage in it was taken on our trips, and it's really amazing. So you can see that. Joe might show you that. But if you click on upcoming trips, it'll show you all the trips that we have coming up, including Easter 2020. So we're taking a group from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then May 2020, that's you guys. I need to update this so it has your exact dates. And you just click register, and it'll fill out all the information that's on those physical forms that Joe, I think, has for you there. So you just fill that all in. It'll get sent to us, and then we'll contact you, let you know we got it, and answer any questions that you have. So let me stop sharing. That's it. So I'm sure there's probably a few questions. So if you want to ask any questions that you have about the trip, let me know, and we can answer those for you.
Anybody have anything? I think you did such a good job, PJ. You answered them all. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you think of one, just let me know. Joe, if you can give me my email. It's just info at ChowRomaTravel.com. You can send it there. And let me know. I could talk about Rome all day, so you're not bugging me. If you want to send an email, happy to answer any questions you have. Spread the word to any other friends you have that might want to go, and let's do this in May.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. No problem. You're going to talk about some other stuff now, right, Joe?
Yeah, I'll probably just briefly talk about fundraising, and then we'll be in touch as we kind of finalize the group.
Yeah, let me know. Let me know if you have any other questions. And good to meet y'all. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.